start with a brief opening statement from Coach Babers. After that, we'll come around and take questions as we always do. Raise your hand, we'll come around with the mic holders for questions. Coach.
First of all, congratulations to Coach Clausen in Wake Forest. It was a heck of a football game. Said some things in the locker room to the guys. The one thing I'm really excited about is we have a football team. We're disappointed about the loss, but when you think about the way they played the last 3 games, they're playing together, they're staying together, and they don't care who gets the credit. It was one of those deals that we wish we'd have came out on the positive end, but we're looking forward to what we can do going down the stretch. Questions?
Questions for Coach? You want to raise your hand? We'll start right in front here, and then we'll go to Steven.
Coach, with your offensive line going into the game, you guys were without Chris, without Darius. What could you talk about? And then Aaron also went out in the middle of the game for a while. What can you talk about just losing them, but then some of the replacements and their ability to still, keep the ball moving and keep the run attack working?
Well, we knew about Darius. Darius might be a little while. We're hoping to get, obviously, Service and Chris back. We can't guarantee that. We had some young guys in there playing against some real stout cats, and they did okay. And it was one of those games. If you'd have told me that we'd have had those type of guys out and we were going to still do the things that we did offensively, my goodness gracious. And I told them, I said, I'm really proud of them. Now they made some mistakes, and there were some things that they did wrong, but overall, I'm really proud of how they went out there and they battled.
Steven, then Mark.
I wanted to ask you about the 2-point conversion at the end of regulation. You sent the offense out and you got to delay a game. What happened?
The biggest thing is there wasn't a sense of urgency of us going out on the football field. There was certain cats that were taking their time, and we needed to speed that thing up. And it was disappointing. I didn't want it to go to overtime, and it was disappointing that we got that penalty. No, normally after a touchdown, I don't want to be doing my official stuff with those guys, but I want to say normally it's a 25-second clock, okay? So they go to 25 seconds after a touchdown, and the first thing was we were going to go for 2, and getting the guys over here, and there's so many new, it's not the matter of just signaling it from the sideline. There's so many new guys, you want to tell them what's going on. Now they have to have a sense of urgency going back out there. We kind of lacked that sense of urgency. The clock ran out on us. No, I'm not sure they need to do that. Once they set it, they can let it roll.
Okay. So it would be a matter of maybe it's held at 25 in that situation?
I'm not, Steven, I can't go there. You guys look it up and tell me. I'm sitting one of those, I can't go there.
Back to Mark now, then Mario next.
Coach, I want to kind of go back to what you opened up with, kind of gaining confidence despite the fact you're not getting the W the last couple times out. Is that what the guys are feeling in there?
I think they're frustrated. First of all, we don't want to lose, and we don't want ties. I mean, we're trying to win the doggone game, and that's the way they feel. But I don't want them to be ashamed about their effort. We made mistakes out there, players, coaches, everybody made the mistakes. But when you look at the overall product of what happened on that football field, I think there's some things you can take some pride in.
Mario, right back.
You had a quarterback in Eric Dungy that you called. He did some special things for you. And when you see what Garrett's been able to do over these last couple of games, how much does that excite you?
I think Garrett's been playing really well. I think he's been doing some things. And the one thing I don't want to do is compare people. It's really not fair. It's not fair to Garrett, and it's not fair to Dungy. Now, that being said, I've still seen Dungy do some things I've never seen ever in my life in 35 years of coaching. So I'd be very careful comparing cats with him.
Along those lines, though, do you feel that this offense has made that switch over to the style now that you're accustomed to playing with Garrett?
I don't know the answer to that. I think we still have the ability to do one or two types of things. I think Garrett's been doing a really, really nice job. Obviously, we're scoring points, and that's the main thing. Okay, it's all that other stuff. Have the ability to score points, and to score points in the 30s is big if you're going to have an opportunity to win some of the games that we've got to play going down the stretch.
You're asking a lot of Garrett and Sean, the way you guys are using them this year, and your chess pieces, although you like them, they are getting battered by the week here. Do you feel like you're going to be able to ride these guys through 6 more of these ACC contests?
I don't know if it's more of a question about Garrett and Sean as it is about the offensive line. Those are the guys that are taking all the pounding. Those are the guys that are taking the baby collisions all the time, and those are the guys that are going down. You know, if those guys don't want the ball, we won't give them to them. We'll give it to somebody else. But it seems like that thing's not very heavy, and they seem like they enjoy carrying it. So until they tell us not to, we'll keep doing what we're doing.
Could you say what you wanted to do on the 2-point conversion had you gotten the snap off?
I don't want to do that because it's still a good play, and we may want to run the play at a later date.
So you won't talk about former players, but having Taj not on the team anymore, you're running a lot of jet sweeps. You guys were kind of running a read option with Courtney in there, the jet sweep. And what does that bring, just being able to, spread out the field using some of those speedy receivers you have and in the rushing game as well?
I think it makes the defense have to defend the entire 53 and a third. I mean, we're trying to make the defense defend not only vertically but horizontally the entire football field, and not open gaps up inside and still have the ability to threaten with receivers, 5 to 7 yards from the sideline in extremely wide splits.
Coach, with Sam Hartman passing for over 300 yards today, do you think that ended up being his O-line that was able to create that space and really target the middle of the field where your safeties were?
Rushing yards are rushing yards. You got to give the credit to somebody. So if their offensive line, if that's what they did, then you have to give them the credit.
Coach, when electing to give Wake that 3rd and 23 before halftime, and then they convert, and then they get the touchdown after the fact, walking into the locker room, how did that change your halftime speech to the guys, that knowing that it was only a 1-score possession game?
It's never a speech. It's always a talking to. And you can do the numbers. I was sitting there. The guy is the most accurate kicker in the history of Wake Forest. His longest kick is 47 yards. I know what his longest kick is. He was in the stadium booting it from 58 and drilling it in pregame warmups. If anybody watches pregame warmups, and I'm sitting there going, he's like 900%. And I'm like, this guy's not going to miss. Okay, so I had a choice of letting them get 3. Or seeing if they can convert a 3rd and 23 versus our defense. I don't know what the analytics are, but you guys can shoot the percentages and write a heck of an article. And then even with the 3rd and 23, we had a guy right there, but we didn't make the play. So I know this game's going to be a close game. It's always a close game. I didn't want to, surrender 3 points right before the half. Okay, because I knew it was going to come back to matter, and it did.
A few more for Coach. We'll start with Steve right here, and I'll go Mario back.
I know you're getting asked about a lot of singular plays and what was a really, really long game. What did you see on that last Wake Forest touchdown?
Literally, I didn't see the play. When the guy faded back, I couldn't see the play. I was blocked, and I thought the ball hit the ground. My assumption was the ball hit the ground. Next thing you know, I heard people cheering and stuff. And I'm like, what just happened? Because I was blocked by my vision, which is rare with me on the field. So I literally didn't see him catch it until I saw the Jumbotron.
This may be kind of connected, but would you have liked to get more pressure on Hartman? And do you think maybe that would have, game planning-wise, helped you?
A lot of people have tried to get pressure on him. And I don't know how many sacks we had, but I bet you we only had 2. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. You don't get a lot of sacks on him. You can check. But I thought what we did do a good job of, we batted some balls down. You can bat balls down on that guy, and that's what we were trying to do. And, he's going to be here next year, and he's going to be here the year after that. He's going to be here for a long time. So we're going to get to see him, 4 or 5 years here at Syracuse. And it'll be the same story all the time. He's a very accurate thrower.
Last 2 questions.
Coach, over these last couple of weeks, the defense has started to give up a bunch of points. Obviously, you played Florida State last week, Wake Forest, best ACC team. Is it something that needs to change in the defense? Because I thought they did good things at times. or is it what needs to happen to not being able to give up that many points?
I think it just comes down to plays. I really do. You know, we're in man-to-man coverage. If you've got a receiver that can win, you're going to have some opportunities. You know, I think back to the turnover that we got, but they caught us for a hell or a holding on one of our DBs, which would have been an enormous play in the game, and you know we didn't get that play. So it's the price of poker. If you're going to do the things that we do as far as pressuring blitzes, then the guys on the back end have to play man-to-man.
Last question.
Coach, you've talked a lot about the balance between the run and the pass game and I guess your play selection. How would you assess that balance today? And also, you know, what does it say about your offense that when you got to go 90 yards down the field to tie the game, you do go to Schrader and Tucker on the ground?
Well, actually the last pass to Tucker was in the air. Was in the air. And you know, anytime you have a quarterback that's mobile and who will take off, there's certain coverages where it can make it very difficult for a wide receiver to catch the ball, but in doing that, that means they can't have spies. They can't have 4 people pressuring you. It becomes a cat and mouse game on what do you want to give up and what do you want to give them, okay? And if you're going to spy the quarterback and you're going to play man trail on the wide receivers with safeties over the top so you can't go deep, then you just might leave a tailback open in the middle of the field, who if you throw him a ball, he might be hard to tackle if there's not a whole bunch of people there. And that's exactly what happened. So it's just a bunch of chess, not checkers. And it goes on all the time.
Right. Is that the balance? Is today the balance that you want to see?
You know, I would like to see us hit a couple of more balls. There were some deep balls where we didn't make some plays on. Sure, I would like to see that stuff. But, you know, scoring 30-something points and I don't know how many yards we got. I think we had our biggest offensive day. I'm not too mad. There's only one thing I'm upset about.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you. You're getting me out of here before I say what I'm upset about.